Blessed May 13th. Another day, another opportunity to give God praise, glory, and honor. Thank you for being here today for Daily Devotions with Dr. Amanda. Once again, it's May 13th. You know, some people think that number 13th is a bad luck number. We don't have bad luck days in God. We don't have bad luck. Nope. We are focused on what God is doing, not coincidences, bad things, none of that. It's all about the Lord and doing his will. So our scripture today is Mark 9:29, which says, "And Jesus said unto them, This kind can come forth by nothing but by prayer and fasting." Prayer and fasting. So I know that we've been talking for several days throughout throughout the month of May about, starting our days off right, focusing on the Lord, doing those things that bring glory and honor unto him. But I have to mention the importance of our prayer life and the importance of having a time when we fast. Prayer, men ought to pray always. That's what the word tells us, meaning that we should have where anywhere at any time that we go, we're able to start talking to the Lord. So that means that we should have nothing that hinders us, sin or anything, where we can't just start talking to the Lord at any moment. And then we should have our set prayer times that we have throughout the day as well, right? So prayer and then fasting. Fasting is when we set aside time from food and drink to just focus on the word, meditating on the Lord. So normally on our fast days with our church, at the times that I would be eating breakfast or eating lunch or whatever, those should be really times that if I'm able to throughout the day, seek God's face, get into his word, study, talk to him, use it as that time. And then all throughout that time also, staying off of social media, not having conversations that I don't need to have, just really trying to stay as focused as I can on the Lord, because I know we're not able to do that all the time, but that's the uniqueness about fasting. That's why it's called fasting, because we're making that opportunity to set aside that time I'm just really going to block out everything else as much as possible and focus on the Lord and pray to him and talk to him. That's killing this flesh when we do that. That's helping this flesh to die. And so Jesus was talking to his disciples at this time. They were attempting to heal a boy who was sick. His father had asked for him to be healed, and they had done miracles before. But Jesus said this particular miracle that they were trying to do would only come through by prayer and by fasting. That was the reasoning that they were unable to help him, because they were not up to par where they needed to be in their fasting, their prayer and their fasting. And so Jesus plainly stated that the problem here was because of their unbelief. And one would say, they believe. I mean, they've performed other miracles. They serve Jesus. There's no way that they don't believe. But unbelief is not believing. It's not necessarily not believing that something can't be done. The disciples believed in the power of God to heal. What their unbelief, it's more than not believing. It was their lacking sufficient spiritual ability to get this done. So it was their lack of growth in the Lord in this area, their lack of discipline in that area of their lives. Faith and unbelief can't be connected at all. So faith in God is something that must grow and develop. So this particular situation required that they had to be at a certain spiritual level of prayer and have had a certain spiritual level of fasting. Because like I said, that fasting, it kills, it crucifies this flesh. Prayer, and someone wrote this, and I want to read it as the person wrote it, because I loved how it expresses it. Prayer connects us to God, which causes our growth. So we do it daily, right? We're able to do that daily. Whereas fasting disconnects us from the world, which is, carnal and ungodly. So prayer connects us to God. Fasting disconnects us from the world. And so I like the way that that is placed there. So Jesus told them, you're unable to do this because of prayer and fasting, your lack of. So it meant that they needed to be in a higher spiritual, a deeper spiritual place in the Lord to do it. And so because we're talking about our daily walk, it has to be so important that we spend time daily and really throughout the day conversating with the Lord, conversing with him, talking to him, thinking upon his word, especially situations that we can't handle, leaning in on him and just talking to him about it. Because if we could do it, then we do it, but we can't. So take it to the Lord. Don't take it to somebody else, especially someone who can't do anything about it. Take it to the Lord. And then we should have a set time weekly where we are fasting. And if you're unfamiliar with fasting, go to the word and just Google all the different places where fasting took place and the reasons for doing so and what was done. It's even good to read Daniel about when he fasted. But it's something that the Lord tells us to do. It's in his word. And it will crucify your flesh. I'm telling you, when I became serious about my fasting, I could see the change in how I responded to different things. I could see my flesh dying. I literally could, because it would be easier not to get so upset and different things like that. So make sure you have a regular prayer time daily, and make sure you put fasting into your weekly plan of what you do. May 13th, this is a great day. Make the best day out of it that you possibly can in the Lord. Subscribe to the channel, share with others, and have a wonderfully blessed rest of this day. Stay blessed.